My beloved brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when a person feels completely stuck. Bills are due, responsibilities are heavy, and the heart begins to panic. In those moments, many people look left and right, wondering who can help them. But the believer is different. The believer looks up because we know that the one who created us has already written our razaqah. Because we know that the one who created us has already written our razaqah. Not a single coin will come before its time, and not a single penny will be delayed beyond what Allah has planned. One of the beautiful names of Allah is Ya Razaq, the one who provides continuously, endlessly, without hisab. When you are in urgent need of money, turn to Him with this name. Sit calmly, raise your hands and recite Ya Razaq 71 times. But let me remind you of something very important. It is not just about repeating words. It is about what is happening in your heart. Are you convinced that Allah can open doors you cannot even imagine? Are you certain that He can provide from sources you never expected? Sometimes we think provision only comes to our job, our business or people. But Allah can send help in ways that will leave you in tears, a sudden opportunity, unexpected support or ease in your situation. At the same time, don't misunderstand. Islam does not teach us to sit back and do nothing. You tie your camel and then you trust Allah. You work, you strive, you make effort, but your qalbing is attached only to Him. And here is something powerful. When you thank Allah, even in hardship, you unlock more provision. Gratitude is not just for when you have a lot. It is especially for when you have little. So if you are in urgent need, turn to Allah. Call upon Ya Razaq with sincerity. Have full trust in Him and continue your effort. Because when Allah opens a door, no one can close it. And when He provides in ways beyond your imagination. May Allah grant all of us halal sustenance, remove our financial worries, and make us among those who rely only on Him. Ameen. When we say that Allah is a Razzaq, we are reminding ourselves of a reality that many of us forget in moments of stress and desperation. Ar-Razzaq means the one who provides, not just once, not occasionally, but continuously, endlessly, without limit. His khazayan are full and they never decrease no matter how much He gives. Every single insan on this earth, from the richest to the poorest, from the strongest to the weakest, is being provided for by Allah alone. Sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking that our rizq comes from our job, our business, our boss, or our connections. We begin to believe that if this person helps us, we will survive. And if that opportunity disappears, we are finished. But the truth is, these are only means. They are tools created by Allah. The one who actually provides through those means is a Razzaq. If He wills, He can provide through them. And if He wills, He can remove them and still provide for you from somewhere else. Look at your own life and reflect. How many times has something come to you from a direction you never expected? How many times were you worried about money and suddenly Allah opened the door? This is our Razgak, showing you that your Razgak is not matwadud to what you can see. It is far beyond your imagination. Even the animals that do not store food, that do not have salaries or savings, are being sustained every single day. The birds leave their nests in the morning with empty stomachs and they return in the evening full. Who provided for them? It is Allah, Ar-Razaq, and you, as a human being, honored with aql and ability. Do you think Allah will forget you? But here is where the test comes. When things become tight, when money becomes short, Shaitan whispers into the heart, making a person feel that they are alone, that they must rely only on themselves, or even turn to haram to solve their problems. This is where your understanding of Ar-Razaq is truly amtachan. Do you still believe that Allah can provide for you in a halal way? Do you still trust that He will not abandon you? Believing in a Razaq changes the way you live your life. It removes desperation from your heart. It gives you sukoon even when your wallet is empty, because you know that the one who provided for you yesterday is qadir to provide for you today and tomorrow. Your situation may change, your job may change, people may come and go, but Allah does not change. And when you truly understand this name, you begin to turn to Allah before anyone else. Instead of begging people, you beg the one who owns the hearts of people. Instead of fearing loss, You trust the one who controls all gain and loss. You raise your hands and call upon him with certainty, knowing that he hears you. He sees your struggle and he knows your need better than you do. So when you say, Ya Razak, do not just let it be words on your tongue. Let it be a conviction in your heart. Let it remind you that your provision is written mahfuz and guaranteed by the one whose khazain can never be exhausted. One of the greatest shifts a believer can make in their life is learning to turn to Allah before turning to people. It sounds simple, but in reality it requires a deep level of iman. When a person is faced with financial stress or urgent need, the first instinct is often to pick up the phone, to message someone, to seek help from those around them. There is nothing wrong with seeking help, but the question is, who do you turn to first? The believer understands that people themselves are in need. Today they may help you, but tomorrow they may be in need of help. Their ability is limited, their resources are limited, and their willingness can change. But Allah is never limited. His khazain are full, his doors are always open, and he never tires of your dua. When you turn to Allah first, you are acknowledging his power over everything. You are saying, Ya Allah, even if the entire world turns away from me, you are enough for me. This is a powerful statement, not just on the tongue, but in the heart. It brings a noise of peace that cannot be found in people. Sometimes, when people rely too much on others, they experience disappointment. Someone promises help but doesn't fulfill it. Someone turns away when you need them most, and this can break a person. But when your taliq is with Allah first, even if people let you down, you are not shaken, because your hope was never placed in them to begin with. Turning to Allah first also purifies your intention. When you raise your hands and make dua, you are speaking directly to the one who knows your situation better than anyone else. You don't need to explain everything in detail. You don't need to convince him. He already knows your struggles, your fears, your sleepless nights, and yet he loves to hear your voice. There's also a beauty in asking Allah before people. It preserves your dignity. Sometimes constantly asking people can make a person feel weak or dependent. But when you ask Allah, you are not losing anything. In fact, you are gaining closeness to him. You are abadat. You are doing something that is beloved to him. And then, after turning to Allah, if you seek help from people, you do so with a different mindset. You understand that they are only a means. If they help, you thank Allah. If they don't, you still trust Allah. Your heart does not attach itself to creation. It remains attached to the Creator. Think about this. The hearts of people are in the control of Allah. If Allah wants, He can place mercy in someone's heart to help you. If Allah wants, He can open doors you never even considered. So instead of chasing people, chase the pleasure of Allah. Instead of depending on creation, depend on the one who created them. When you are in urgent need, take a moment, pause, raise your hands before you reach for anything else. Call upon Allah with sincerity, with humility, with full trust. Cry if you need to. Speak to Him like a servant who knows that his master is near. Because when you make Allah your first call, you will never feel alone. And when Allah decides to help you, He can send that help through anyone, in any way, at any time. Among the greatest gifts that Allah has given us are His beautiful names, known as Asma'ul Husna. These are not just names to be memorized or recited without thought. They are doors that connect you directly to Allah in a way that is deeply personal and powerful. Each name reflects a unique attribute of Allah. And when you call upon Him using these names, you are calling upon Him in a way that matches your need. When a person is in need of provision, feeling financially strained or worried about money, calling upon Allah as a Razak carries a special meaning. You are not just making a general dua. You are specifically asking the one who provides to provide for you. When you say Ya Razak, you are acknowledging that He is the source of all rizq and that no one else has the ability to give you what He can. This is something many people overlook. They may make dawah, but their connection to the names of Allah is weak. Imagine if you needed mercy and you called upon Ar-Rahman. Or you needed forgiveness and you called upon Al-Ghafar. Or you needed ease in hardship and you called upon Al-Fatah, the one who opens doors. Each name carries a depth that strengthens your dua and brings your heart closer to Allah. The power of these names is not in the sound of the words alone, but in the understanding behind them. When you call upon Allah using His names, you are showing that you recognize who He is. You are affirming His attributes. And this is beloved to Allah. He loves when His servants call upon Him with knowledge and sincerity. There is also something beautiful about repeating these names. When you repeat Ya Razak again and again, your heart begins to absorb its meaning. At first, it may feel like just words on the tongue, but slowly it settles into your heart. You begin to feel a sense of reliance, a sense of calm, a sense of hope that perhaps wasn't there before. However, it is important to understand that the effectiveness of calling upon these names is not tied to a specific number alone. Some people become overly focused on counting 71 times 100 times or 100 times or more, but they forget the essence. If the heart is absent, if the tongue is moving but the mind is distracted, then what is the value? The real impact comes when the heart is hava, when you are fully aware of what you are saying, and who you are calling upon. At the same time, repeating a name a certain number of times can help with focus and consistency. It gives structure to your remembrance, but it should never replace sincerity. Even if you say it a few times with deep conviction, it can be more powerful than saying it many times without thought. The names of Allah are a mercy for us. They are a way for us to connect with Him in every situation. When you are in need, you call upon the one who can fulfill that need. When you are afraid, you call upon the one who grants protection. When you are lost, you call upon the one who guides. So when you sit and say, Ya Razak, let your heart be haza. Reflect on the meaning. Feel the need within you and know that you are calling upon the one whose khazain are endless, whose giving has no limit, and who loves to provide for His servants when they turn to Him sincerely. One of the biggest misunderstandings people fall into is thinking that success in dua or the dhikr is simply about numbers. They become focused on counting how many times they recited something, whether they reached a certain figure, whether they completed a specific amount. While numbers can have their place in helping with discipline and consistency, they are not the essence of worship. The real essence lies in sincerity and consistency. A person might sit and repeat a name of Allah many times, but their heart is distracted, their mind is elsewhere, and their tongue is simply moving out of habit. In such a case, what is truly being presented? The words are there, but the ruha is missing. On the other hand, someone might say a few words with deep sincerity, with full hador of the heart, and it can be far more powerful. Allah does not look at the quantity alone. He looks at the quality. He looks at the state of your heart. Are you turning to Him because you truly believe He is the only one who can help you? Are you calling upon Him with humility, recognizing your weakness and His greatness, or are you simply repeating phrases without reflection? Consistency is another key that many overlook. Sometimes people become very motivated for a short period. They recite, they make dua. They remember Allah intensely, but only for a day or two. Then they stop. Then when another problem arises, they return again in the same urgent way. This cycle continues and their connection with Allah becomes tied only to moments of crisis. But the believer is someone who remains consistent. Even if it is a little, they do it regularly. Even if it is a short dua, they make it daily. Even if it is a few moments of dhikr, they maintain it. This consistency builds a relationship with Allah. It strengthens the heart over time. It creates a connection that is not just based on need, but on love, reliance, and abadate. When you consistently call upon Allah, you begin to feel closer to Him. You begin to notice how He responds to you in ways you may not have seen before. Sometimes the answer to your dawah comes quickly, and sometimes it is delayed. But even in the delay, there is wisdom, and the one who is consistent does not give up. They continue to call upon Allah, not because they are guaranteed an immediate result, but because they trust Him. There is also a balance to understand here. If a person chooses to recite something like Ya Razak a specific number of times, such as 71, it can serve as a tool to help them focus and stay disciplined. But they must remember that the number itself is not what brings the Rizq. It is Allah who brings the Rizq. The number is just a means, not the source. So instead of becoming overly concerned with counting, focus on your heart. Slow down your recitation. Think about what you are saying. Feel your need. Let your words come from a place of sincerity, and then remain consistent with it. Do not let it be something you only do once and forget. Because when sincerity and consistency come together, they create something powerful. A connection with Allah that is steady, deep, and real. And when that connection is strong, a person finds peace even before their situation changes. And often, through that connection, Allah opens doors in ways they never expected. A believer must understand that relying on Allah does not mean abandoning effort. There is a balance in Islam that is both practical and deeply spiritual, a balance between tawakkul and action. Tawakkul means to place your full trust in Allah, to believe with certainty that He is in control of all outcomes. But at the same time, Islam teaches us to take the means, to strive, to work, and to do whatever is within our ability. Sometimes people misunderstand this concept. They think that if they simply make dua, recite certain kalimat, and sit back, everything will come to them without any effort. But this is not how life works. Even the prophets who had the strongest connection with Allah still made effort. They worked, they struggled, they planned, and alongside all of that, they trusted Allah completely. Think of it this way: if a person is hungry, they don't just sit and say, Allah will feed me without moving. They look for food, they try to earn, they make an effort. But in their heart, they know that it is not the food itself that satisfies them. It is Allah who provides through that means. This is the essence of tawakkul. When you are in need of money, you turn to Allah, you call upon Him. You say, Ya Razzaq with sincerity. But at the same time, you look at your situation honestly. Are there opportunities you can pursue? Are there skills you can use? Are there doors you can knock on? You take those steps not because you rely on them, but because you understand that Allah has placed these means in your path. There is a beautiful lesson in this balance. When you make effort, you are fulfilling your responsibility. And when you trust Allah, you are fulfilling your AE main. If you only rely on your effort, you will feel stressed, overwhelmed, and anxious because everything depends on you. And if you only claim to trust Allah without making effort, you are neglecting the means that He has provided. True peace comes when both are combined. You work hard, but your heart is calm. You try your best, but you are not desperate. You plan, but you are not desperate. You plan, but you are not fearful of outcomes. Because you know that whatever is meant for you will reach you, and whatever is not meant for you will never come, no matter how hard you chase it. Sometimes, despite all your effort, things may not go the way you expect. Doors may close, opportunities may slip away. This is where tawakkul becomes even more important. Instead of becoming frustrated or losing hope, you remind yourself that Allah knows what you do not know. Perhaps what you were chasing was not carrier for you. Perhaps Allah is saving something better for you at the right time. And sometimes Allah tests your patience before opening a door. He wants to see your reliance. He wants to see whether you will continue to trust Him even when things are not easy. This is not a punishment. It is a way of raising your rank and strengthening your connection with Him. So as you call upon Allah for provision, do not sit idle, move forward, take steps. Try your best, but let your heart remain attached to Allah alone. Because it is not your effort that guarantees results. It is Allah who puts barakah in your effort. When tawakkul and effort come together, a person lives with dignity, hope, and inner peace. And when Allah decides to open a door for such a person, it comes with ease, with blessing, and with care that goes far beyond what they imagine. Gratitude is one of the most powerful yet often overlooked keys to increasing provision. Many people think they will be grateful after they receive more, after their situation improves, after their mashakal are solved. But the reality is the opposite. Gratitude itself is a sabab for increase. Allah has clearly promised that when you are grateful, He will give you more. This is not just a spiritual idea, it is a divine guarantee. The challenge, however, is being grateful when you feel like you have very little, when money is tight, when bills are piling up, when you are worried about your future. The heart naturally focuses on what is missing. You begin to count your pudmilai instead of your blessings. But this is where a believer is different. A believer trains their heart to see what they do have, even in times of difficulty. Think about it for a moment. Even in your hardest financial situation, how many blessings are still around you? Your health, your ability to move, to think, to speak. The fact that you can still try, still make dua, still wake up and strive. These are blessings that many people no longer have, yet we often overlook them because we are so focused on what we don't possess. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It changes the way you see your life. Instead of daim complaints, there is appreciation. Instead of feeling empty, there is a sense of richness in the heart. And this internal change has a powerful effect. It brings sakoon, it removes bitterness, and it opens the door for more blessings to come. When you thank Allah, you are acknowledging that everything you have is from Him. You are recognizing His favor upon you, and this recognition is beloved to Allah. He loves when His servants appreciate His namat. He loves when they say Alhamdulillah, not just with their tongues, but with their hearts. But gratitude is not just words. It is also shown through your actions. When Allah gives you something, no matter how small, how do you use it? Do you use it in a way that pleases Him? Or do you misuse it? True gratitude means using what you have in a way that brings you closer to Allah. Even a small amount of money, when used correctly, can carry barakah. There is also something beautiful about being grateful during hardship. It is easy to say Alhamdulillah when everything is going well. But when you say it while you are struggling, it reflects a deep level of iman. It shows that you trust Allah's wisdom, even when you don't fully understand your situation. And this kind of gratitude has a special impact. It brings you closer to Allah in a way that comfort cannot. It strengthens your heart. It builds resilience. And often it becomes a means for relief, because when Allah sees a servant who is grateful even in difficulty, He opens doors for them. Sometimes the increase that comes from gratitude is not just financial. It can be peace in your heart, contentment in your life, ease in your matters. And sometimes, along with all of that, Allah also increases your rizq in ways you did not expect. So instead of constantly focusing on what is missing, take a moment every day to reflect on what you already have. Say Alhamdulillah with sincerity. Feel it, mean it. Let come from your heart. Because gratitude is not just a reaction, it is a path. A path that leads to increase, to barakah, and to a deeper connection with Allah. As we come to the end, my dear brothers and sisters, remember that Rizq is not in the hands of NASA, nor is it limited to what you see around you. It is in the hands of Allah alone, the one who is Ar-Razzaq, the one who provides without limit, without hesab. If you find yourself in urgent end, do not panic, do not lose hope. Turn to Allah before anyone else. Call upon Him with His beautiful names, especially Ya Razzaq, with sincerity in your heart. Repeat it, focus on it, and let your qalb truly connect with the one you are calling. But at the same time, remember the balance. Be consistent, not just emotional for a moment. Make effort alongside your da'ah. And never underestimate the power of gratitude, even when you feel like you have very little. Know this with certainty. When you turn to Allah sincerely, He will respond. It may not always come in the way you expect, and it may not always come immediately, but it will come in the way that is best for you. So hold on to Allah, trust Him, call upon Him, and walk forward with hope in your heart. Because when Allah decides to provide, no force on earth can stop it. And when He opens a door for you, it will be a door filled with barakah, ease, and higher beyond what you could ever imagine. May Allah grant us all halal and abundant provision, ease our hardships, and make us among those who rely only on Him. Ameen.